What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Palantir, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's really been affecting it, and why Palantir is getting ready for a next leg up. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Palantir had a very phenomenal day on Friday, up 8.54%, $71.50 the low, $80.66 the high. So welcome back to the 80s, very close to the new all-time high, which was previously done during this run at $80.91. And based on what I'm going to talk on, it is fair to assume that there will be new 52 weeks or highs coming, but nothing really coming out from the company itself. So of course, with its inclusion in the NASDAQ 100, I think in general that's adding a lot of liquidity. Plus, at the same time, there has been a lot of good data that's been coming out, which kind of subsided Powell's fearful about inflation going up to around 2.5% in 2025 and all that stuff. GDP, PCE recently last week were absolutely on point, signaling that the market is very strong. And not only that, though, you did see last week there was around $19.61 billion that left money markets to go into the crypto as well as equity markets. And based on what I've been seeing from crypto lately, they are having abnormally low volume and somewhat pulling back. So it is fair to assume that that 19.61 billion, or at least majority of that, did go to equities. And this is why you are seeing a little bit higher kind of volume, not just with Palantir, but with across the board. So big money is feeling very comfortable with the market. And so in theory, this is where you could see a rotation similar to what happened between 2020 and 2021. I've brought this up in the past, and a lot of people might have not been investing at that time period. So in case you don't know, everything during that time period just went up. Of course, with Palantir's recent run, it kind of makes it look very small, but in essence, every stock was at 52-week highs and whatever. So this is where essentially you could see Palantir hitting a new just record high, where it could potentially go up like 10x from even these levels, similar to what happened during this time period. Because October 15th, 2020, Palantir was sitting at $9. At its peak, it was roughly around $35-ish. So yeah, definitely a lot more room essentially for it to go up. No real recent news. Last news that did come out, I think, was the 18th. But aside from that, it's just been kind of stuck in limbo and whatever. But I think Palantir is still getting a lot of attention from big money, as you can kind of see. So these are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money still cannot get enough of Palantir, and why not, right? It's one of those stocks that, yes, you might get some kind of a lot of opposite viewpoints based on analysts, because Wall Street just doesn't really know how to appropriately value a kind of innovative companies such as Palantir. But big money can't go like this. Is probably around 700 transactions over $100,000 just occurred on Friday, and most likely that could increase in the next week and a bit, as a lot of entities will be rebalancing their portfolios, and with its inclusion in the NASDAQ, that could really stand to benefit. But as of right now, though, looking over here, the LE Wave Technicals does have a pivot point of $64.68. So for as long as it is above that, then it is anticipated to hit between the 86.95 to 91.63 range. So pretty positive in that regard. As far as new analyst ratings, these are it. So you did have a new one, $80 initial UBS, Carl, who has a 65% success rating. So most likely Daniel Ives doesn't like to be outshined. Of course, Palantir is his kind of little baby. So most likely in the next week or so, you'll see a new rating. If anything, I could see him coming out with a $90 price target, which, based on my last video, that's where I did state it was going to go, just based on the technicals, the macro conditions, and everything. So most likely you'll see Daniel Ives do that. And then, of course, I think the copycat, Bank of America, this individual who has a 69% success rating, they'll kind of follow suit. So in my opinion, that could give a kind of justified push higher. But aside from that, you have a $44 sell that was done 9 days ago. Mizuho, Greg, who has a 60% success rating. So this is why Like I said, Wall Street just doesn't really know how to appropriately value kind of innovative companies. So you have polar opposites. You have $11 as the low, which was done last month, RBC. This analyst has a 53% success rating. Then you have the most recent one done 4 days ago. So all over the place. But I'm going to go over technicals and stuff like that near the end of the video. I do like to go over shorts, not because Palantir is a squeeze play, but it's good to analyze what they're doing. So 3.52% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 73.81 million shares. So shorts have been actually generally returning. On Friday, they increased 338,000 shares, which is kind of crazy. So they, in some aspects, didn't really feel that the 8+% day was justified, but I think out of any stock in the market, anyone going and betting against Palantir is destined to lose their money. So you can kind of just see that there has been blips where they feel bold enough to really double down on Palantir, but regrettably, like I said, with the level of capital really getting into Palantir, it's very short-lived because, yeah, you're going to be losing tons of money when it comes down to Palantir. So the fact that the trend is still going down does signal that they see a little bit more upside. So something to kind of keep in mind. As of Friday, there was 289 million in calls, 86 million in puts. So a lot of money is getting into Palantir through both common stock as well as options. 49% of all the options being done on Friday were optimistic in nature. And you can kind of just see there was a pretty much not close to a record. So it looks like on December the 9th, that was a record of $518 million in options. So there was on Friday 375. So it is getting more and more attention. So pretty good stuff in that regard. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above roughly around the $88 range for this upcoming week. The bears, though, they are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $70. So this upcoming week, even though it is a shorter week, it's you kind of have polar opposites of what people are expecting. So some people might be expecting more of a consolidation pullback, but on a side note, just in case you are not aware, it's kind of a technical driven week. Just to give you a quick overview of some of the data points. So as far as Monday, not a lot in data points. Tuesday, the market is closed at 1 o'clock. And then Wednesday, the market's closed in general in lieu of Christmas. So Merry Christmas to those that celebrate. Then Thursday, Friday, it's more just kind of the status quo. So initial jobless claims and whatever else. So in my opinion, it is going to be more linked to the technicals. And the technicals in obviously Palantir's case does signal higher highs. And if you are going to continue to see that capital coming in and rotating out of money markets, then you're going to see just every stock for the most part, and probably hot ones such as Palantir getting majority of the volume, going up and up. So that's just my viewpoint. Of course, I could be wrong, but let me know your viewpoint on all of that. With it at $80.55, trading between this R3 and this R2. So 75.26 is going to be the next strong support. 85.51 is going to be that next strong kind of target / resistance, at least in the short term. Of course, the Elliott Wave Technicals is projecting for it to be above that, at least in the short term. So within the next couple of weeks. So honestly, given Palantir's momentum, I can definitely see that being very, very feasible. But regardless, just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. And of course, with Palantir going up very fast in a short time period, this is why you're seeing very wide gaps based on the fib levels. But on the actual chart itself, I have the super trend, ALMA, 50, 100, 200-day moving average, and then stochastic RSI. So as far as given everything, even though Palantir is pretty much at all-time highs because of the recent consolidation, you actually have it considered oversold, as crazy as that sounds. So again, going into this upcoming week, that could really stand to benefit Palantir. But as of right now, there's not really much negative things to really bring up. So it is above all the key pivotal moving averages, above the ALMA. Like I said, it did show some signs of consolidation right here, but it was able to fight back. One key point to really watch for, which conveniently is that same pivot point on the Elliott Wave Technicals, is that super trend, which is sitting at $64.26. So if it does break below that, which of course with $80 doesn't seem realistic, but if it does break below that, then you'll have the algorithmic trading really working against Palantir. So I'm just saying that more of a FYI rather than anything. But all in all, I think a lot of the data points that I did bring up is kind of a very good indicator that there's going to be higher highs coming for Palantir. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Where do you see things going realistically? Do you think it's going to hit 100 next, or potentially retrace back to, let's say, the $65 range? What do you think is coming next? So don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. One final thing I just wanted to share with you though, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. Many of them just in the month and a half that I've launched it, already up double, some triple and whatever. And Palantir, I actually did put as a buy signal. I think it was at $70, and my price target on Palantir, at least in the next little bit, is 95. So a little bit optimistic, even more so than Daniel Ives. But like I said, I feel like he's going to come out and not get outshined by that new UBS rating. So you might see a $90 or possibly even 95 from him. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Pop over to the Patreon and take a look at that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.